Good morning. Happy New Year. We're back. See you after this. Where is it? Good morning, everybody. Sorry for the delay. We was waiting for Kerry Burr to show up.
Oh, yes, I do apologise for that. Technical issues this morning. It's I've not used the laptop for a week, and it threw me out of everything, and then decided to reboot.
Yeah. It's Monday. It's January. What do we expect?
Oh, well, exactly. Absolutely. The laptop and us all have had a very good, well-earned break. And welcome to 2022. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, I know. Oh, we all have had a very good break. I hope our viewers have had a really good Christmas and a safe New Year, and had some time to relax and watch our older videos.
Absolutely.
Adam said you've had an haircut.
I haven't.
You've not found time to yet.
No, I haven't had time to sort that out yet.
Yeah,
but of course,
this was meant to be your show, Kerry. So go on.
Well, I was just saying it is the new year, and of course, it's that time where many people tend to make New Year's resolutions. There is a slight issue with a lot of the resolutions that we tend to make, and I've been just as guilty as anybody else in previous years. Make a New Year's resolution to get fitter, to lose weight, and do all sorts of different things. But the problem is, if they're things that we feel that we should do rather than what we really, really want to do, we're most unlikely to actually stick to them. And so it happens generally within the first few days of making the New Year resolution, that we get a bit bored and we just think, oh, I can't be bothered with this anymore. And so we don't continue with it. So I thought it'd be quite an interesting little conversation that we had this morning about New Year's resolutions, because my personal belief is that if we're going to make a New Year's resolution, or several of them, why not make them goals that we want to achieve, things that we really, really do want to sort of attract and achieve in our lives?
Yeah, definitely. And obviously we had a conversation about this before today. And we set out our goals. Well, I set mine out a couple of days ago, that this year I wanted to start, finish and pass my level 3. Of course, my college tutor has said that I've got to do another level 2 course to get my college credits up before I can go on to my level 3. So I'm currently waiting for the paperwork to come through, and then I can get started on that one. So I've got yet another one to add to it, is I've got to do my other level 2 course. So take me about a month extra, but oh well, I will do it.
Yeah, looking at that though, I mean, that's a good thing. It's a good thing. I know it's perhaps additional work that you weren't expecting to have to put in, but it's moving you in the right direction to achieve the goal that you've set for yourself.
Yeah.
And even if that means the date that you decided that you want to achieve that goal by is delayed a little bit, it doesn't matter, because you're still on the right path. You're still doing taking the effective action and appropriate action.
I've given myself till June, so I've got a good 6 months margin, so I should be all right.
Yeah, I mean, but I think that's something else as well. Is when you're talking about margins, talking about dates and margins. I think if we give ourselves too much of a wide margin, we tend to become a little bit complacent, or we can do, and perhaps procrastination might set in a little bit. We sit there and we look at it and we think, oh, well, yeah, I don't have to do it today because I've got until such and such to do it. And then it kind of goes on and on and on and on like that. And then all of a sudden we've got like 2 weeks and we've got to cram everything into that 2 weeks. And then suddenly we find ourselves getting pretty stressed.
Yeah. No, well, the reason I've done 6 months is because then obviously it allows me to have that day off in between courses, in between units in the courses, to have some downtime away from the Warriors, away from college, and have some me time. So that's why I've stretched it out.
So it's all about planning, isn't it?
Yeah.
Excuse me, planning what action you're going to take on what days, how long you're going to spend on doing that particular task or those particular things. And pretty much being self-disciplined and sticking to it. You can be reasonably flexible, obviously, because there are likely to be things that will happen unexpectedly, and quite often these things do tend to sort of interfere with other things that we've got planned in. It happens all the time. So it's essential to be pretty flexible. But I think the main thing that we want to focus on here is the effects, excuse me, negative and positive, that it has on, these things can have on our mental health. Because first of all, as I was saying, New Year's resolutions, let's make them goals. Let's make it, rather than a something that we feel that we should do, let's make it something that we really do want to achieve, something that's really important to us and fills us with excitement, because that's just brilliant for our mental health, isn't it? Having something exciting to look forward to and something exciting and interesting to work towards, and imagine that you've actually achieved it right now. Just imagine that. And what does it look like? How does it feel? Hold on to that feeling, that wonderful feeling of happiness and joy and what's there's a like exaltation or whatever you want to call it. This real amazing feeling that you would feel once you've achieved this one particular thing that you want to achieve, and hold on to that for as long as you can. And do that each day, every single day, and that will help to give you the motivation that we need to actually take the next step, to do those things, even if those things that we're having to do to begin with are considered perhaps a little bit boring or monotonous. As long as they are essential steps, and we remind ourselves just before we start working on them of how it's going to feel once we've achieved our ultimate goal, then, as I say, that gives us the motivation to actually go out there and do them. And that is really, really important. Now, of course, the flip side is that we set ourselves something to do and we decide that we're going to achieve it by a certain date. And we might do some of the work, or we might not. Or we might do all of the work, and it gets to that specific date and we haven't actually yet achieved what we've set out to do. So what are the negative effects of that on our mental health? Well, instantly, I guess we would, a lot of people might think that they failed and then just completely give it up. And I think that's quite a big issue for a lot of people when they don't achieve a certain thing by a certain time, is that feeling of failure. And that feeling of failure can then it's like a rock rolling, and it's gathering moss, and that moss is not just the rock is the feeling of failure, and the moss is all the other thoughts and beliefs that are picked up along route. So things like, well, I obviously don't deserve this. I don't deserve to succeed at this. And well, I'm really not that worthy then, am I? I'm absolutely useless. So all these negative thoughts and beliefs about ourselves start building up and building up and building up until eventually you've got this massive boulder and it's really difficult to move it.
Yeah. But then obviously at that point, we've got to remember right before all that boulder starts, fail means first attempt in learning. And obviously the Warriors, one of our hashtags is #never-quit. Yeah, all right. Everybody's going to fail at some point. But remember, it's not a fail. It's your first attempt in learning. Get up and go again. Because then the second time round, you learn from the mistakes you've made from the first round. And then you go again, you learn not to make those mistakes. It's like when we do one of our college courses, we make mistakes in our courses. And then our tutors point the mistakes, right, okay, here you've made a mistake here, you've made a mistake there, I need a bit more information there. And you learn. It's a learning curve.
Absolutely.
It might take us 2 or 3 attempts to get that pass on that unit 1. But when we've got that pass, we feel brilliant. Yeah, we failed on the first 2 attempts, but they weren't failures. They were successful learning curves.
Absolutely.
We learned from our mistakes, and we took the mistakes and we changed them, and we got the pass. And then we went again for the second one. I sat there when I submitted my final unit on my level 2. And I sat there when I clicked submit and I thought, I know for a fact I'm going to have to revisit my level 3. And the thought was there, I'm going to have to revisit. But I don't mind revisiting it because there might be a few things I could add. Because after I submitted it, I'm like, I could have put that into it. And I thought, oh, well, I'm going to revisit it. But then I got the pass and I was thrilled. And it happened 24 hours before I'd put it into the universe. I will pass my level 2 before Christmas. And 24 hours later, I got my pass, which was wicked. Right before Christmas, early Christmas present, I'm qualified.
And you're absolutely right. Every failure is, even if it's not a first attempt, every failure is, I don't look at things as failures. I look at them as lessons. I've experienced something that whatever it was that I did and the work that I put in, it didn't work out as I'd planned it to. So I can revisit what I've done and look at the bits that do work and look at the bits that didn't work. And those bits that didn't work, I can get rid of them and move forward again, bring in the bits that do work, and work out different strategies to include in that to help me move forward. And like you say, each time you fail at something, and we can fail at something time and time again, but that doesn't mean that we are failures. It doesn't mean that we do not deserve that very thing that we're striving to achieve. It just means that there are lessons there that we've had to learn, things that we've had to experience and lessons that we've had to learn. And it really is finding the things that do work for us. And quite honestly, I would go so far as to say that by the time that we do achieve what we've set out to achieve, even if it is some considerable time after the date that we'd perhaps decided we wanted to achieve it by, I think we can quite safely call ourselves experts because we've made those mistakes, we've experienced those failures, but we've learned from them. We've learned those lessons. We've carried them forward with us. So experts. Every failure means that you are moving further. You are actually getting closer towards achieving and becoming an expert in that particular area. So it's good. It's good to experience things that don't work, because if we don't, how can we possibly know what will work?
Exactly. And obviously, while you're moving through your life, nobody knows everything. Everybody's still learning. So it's okay to have those down times and failures, because it means that you're learning. And then the next step, Like Adam's just commented, it was you, Adam, wasn't it? Yeah. A stepping stone to success. All those little failures are stepping stones to success.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I know that in 6 months' time, I'm going to have those brand new 2 qualifications under my belt. I'm going to feel brilliant.
It's like starting a new business. Or actually, well, we'll use a different analogy. It's like learning to drive a car. You apply for your provisional license. It turns up in the post. That means that you can legally go out in a vehicle that you're insured to drive with somebody who holds a full driving license and learn to drive. What it doesn't mean is that you can instantly get in a car and be an expert driver.
Well, I don't know, because some people, they go out on private areas, and obviously when you're in a private area, you don't need your insurance.
Yes, but we're going with the presumption that you apply for your provisional driving license, and it's the first time you're getting in the driving seat of a car. Yeah, to be the driver, you're not going to be able to drive the car instantly and be an expert at it. So it's again like starting a business. You can't expect to do all the you do the background work. If you're like me, for example, I've done all my studying and training. I've got my qualifications, and I've got the website. I've got my Facebook group. I've got all these different things going on, and I've built those in the background. But if I'd done all of that before I actually announced to the world that I'm here and this is what I'm doing, those things would be worthless. They would be pointless. And I couldn't just go, okay, I'm here now, and expect loads and loads of people to come flocking towards me and go, oh, brilliant, you can help me with this, you can help me with that. Because they don't know that.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've got to go through a process, and a process with starting a new business, for example, is we've got to learn, we've got to know who our ideal clients are. We've got to know where they're hanging out. Whereabouts online are they hanging out, or whereabouts offline are they hanging out? And then the marketing messages have got to be created so that they are directed at those ideal clients. We can't just go, hi everybody, I'm Kerry Burr, the Human GPS. I'm a master coach and hypnotherapist, and I help people blah 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 blah, and expect to have loads and loads of people come flocking towards me. It doesn't happen like that.
Yeah.
It takes time. It will always take time. But provided we are taking that effective and appropriate action on a regular basis, and we know what's working and we know what's not working, we can eliminate what's not working and focus on what is.
Yeah.
And as I say, it's like with driving a car, learning to drive a car. You get your provisional license, you get in the driver's seat of the car, but then the person that's with you, preferably the instructor, has got to explain to you exactly what you've got to do step by step. Yeah. As if you've never driven a vehicle before. And most of us know that we've got to put the key in the ignition and turn it on, or if we've got one of these fancy cars, we just push
press a button.
Yeah. And and depending on whether you're driving an automatic or a manual, then you're shown what to do and explained and everything else. And there's a lot to learn with learning to drive a car. There's a lot to learn with starting and running a business. There's a lot to learn in whatever it is that we're doing, whether it's getting fit, whether it's wanting to lose a bit of weight, give up smoking, give up drinking, whatever it is, writing a book for the first time, so many different things, but it's got to be something that we really, really want to do. That I feel is so important, because as I said right at the start, if it's not something that we really, really want to do, it's not going to light that fire. It's not going to fill us with excitement about achieving it. And more often than not, we will just drop it and it'll never happen.
Yeah, and while we're on the subject of instructors, Dorota has joined us in the comments. Make sure to do a background check on the instructor though.
Yeah, very, very good tip. Very good tip.
Very good advice, Dorota. Yeah.
Yeah, Melissa's joined us in this morning. Hi, Melissa. Good to see
Melissa.
you. Hope you're all well.
Yep. And we've got a question from Adam.
We have.
Right. It was only a matter of time before the questions from Adam started this year.
Yeah. So for us both then, it's 2022, which gives us new opportunities for the year. So what do you both see yourself doing with only yourself, but yourself on the Mental Health Warriors? So individually, and then obviously as a collective within.
I'll let you go first.
Oh wow! Okay. Well,
what you're in the deep end.
Well, actually, I have actually I have set my goals for this year, and I've already started the meditating and manifestation process, because what I found really, really interesting is that yesterday at around about 6:33 p.m. in the UK, we had a super new moon. Okay, and the new moon is the best time, the absolute best time to put your wishes and desires out there and to start manifesting. So I did that yesterday evening. I had a chat with you and Adam about it, didn't I? I think you guys were going to do something similar as well.
Yeah, I did some meditating last night and I put my wishes out there. So it was just before 6:30, but it still went out there.
That's it. And it doesn't matter if it's just before, just after, or we've got sort of like the rest of today, tomorrow, most of Wednesday as well, to do it. So, if you wanted, I guess, to sort of really, really solidly plant it out there, you could do it again today and tomorrow, and
doing it again today then.
Morning as well. Yeah. So but I had great fun doing that last night. Really, really enjoyed that. So what do I see myself doing this year? Well, I know that I have a book in me. I did start writing it about 2 years ago, but then I stopped. And I think there's been a lot been going on sort of in between times that has taken priority, I guess. So, that kind of went on the back burner a bit. But now, even as I'm speaking to everybody now and having this conversation with you, Kerry, and I've felt it since yesterday morning. Yesterday morning, I woke up, and all the way through the night, I'd been waking up periodically, just for short, just a few minutes at a time. And each time I've got like sections of the book coming at me. So yesterday morning when I got up, I actually started making notes from what I could remember of the different sections that were coming to me. And I took it as a sign that now is the time to start writing it and really sort of focus on it.
Yeah,
so that's something to watch out for later this year. Okay. There's lots of things that I've got planned as far as the human GPS is concerned. I'd love to get into doing a bit more public speaking, but doing it offline. As online's brilliant, but offline, you can sort of gauge the energy with your audience a lot better, and I think that there's a bit more interaction as well, and that kind of helps to feed the intuition as well, really, particularly when you're sort of speaking with people, and so I can just allow that to flow, and sort of put across whatever message I'm being given, I guess, whatever comes through, and give that to the audience, because that's obviously it'll be whatever they need to hear.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's something else that I'm going to be pursuing this year, as well as obviously helping as many people as I possibly can with my one-to-one coaching packages and with my amazing group coaching program, which I'm doing. I'm working in collaboration with another coach, and we're aiming this particular program at new and small business owners. And it's it's a really exciting program, 12-week support program with a 1-day workshop, and that'll really kind of set people off in the right direction.
Wow, so you're going to be very, very busy this year then.
That is my intention, absolutely. Within the mental health warriors, wow, I've ever since I started coming in and doing coffee morning, I've loved it. I love the fact that it's a place where we can come and discuss mental health issues, because you guys know that it's something that's very, very close to my heart. I've experienced poor mental health, as in having a nervous breakdown, however many years ago it was now, 2006. So I've got first-hand experience of it, and it is, I can't stress it enough, it is something, we all have mental health. That phrase, mental health, just because somebody uses that phrase mental health doesn't mean to say that you've got poor mental health. Mental health is mental health, the same way as physical health is physical health. And the two are linked, so very closely linked. It's just as important to look after our mental health as it is our physical health. Yet we tend to spend more time and more effort on looking after our physical health than we do our mental health. And I just think, why? We want to be happy, don't we? We want to enjoy our lives. And it doesn't matter how many miles we can run each day. If we're not really happy up here or in here, truly happy in here, then, being able to run 10 miles a day, for example, means nothing, really. So, my intention within the Mental Health Warriors is to help to boost public awareness of the mental health warriors, to get people joining in, supporting. Wouldn't it be amazing, absolutely amazing to get some sponsorship, perhaps? Yeah. Because I'm not bothered about being paid for doing what I do here. I'm more than happy to give up a bit of my time each week to do this and appear on any other of the shows that I might be invited along to appear on. More than happy to do that. But you guys, you and Adam especially, you've set this up, you've put a lot of work into it, and you continue to put a lot of work and a lot of effort into it. It's your passion. It is absolutely your passion, and I've got to say this, I totally and utterly applaud you both for everything that you've done and everything that you are doing with this group. And setting up all the different broadcasts, and it's just, it's a thankless task, but from me, thank you, and whatever I can do to help move this movement forward and raise the awareness of mental health and how important it is to look after it, you have my full support.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to ping up, with that in mind, I'm going to ping up Adam's comment. It was the late, great, amazing celebrity Philip Chan that put the idea of the mental health warriors into Adam's head. Sadly, he's no longer with us, but he's with us in spirit, and he'll always be with the warriors in spirit. It was him that put the idea in, and it was then obviously Adam that started it all, and then he dragged me into it, and we've slowly built the Warriors up to now we're a fantastic dysfunctional family, as he calls us.
Yeah.
But we talk to each other about literally everything, everything. We can have that chat, and there's random things in there, there's weird things in there, there's funny things, but then there's also get down to the nitty gritty of supporting each other when we do need to.
I was going to say,
yeah.
Above everything else, there is that support, and there is that love, that mutual love, and that's just amazing. It's just amazing.
Yeah, we all love each other as warriors, as friends, and our little family. And yeah, Adam, you did drag me into it.
Come on, how about you? What are your goals?
Personally, this year, obviously, I already mentioned I've got two courses to do, and I've given myself a 6-month deadline to do that. But I also want to focus more on changing my attitude. So stop saying I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and start saying I will do something. So then I don't get shouted at as much.
Can I just interject there and say so this is something that I've learned over the years. Okay, it's great to put intentions out there. Yeah, we set intentions. But then I think it's a good idea to change that intention into an affirmation, create an affirmation that goes along with that intention. So speak about it as if it's happening right now. Yeah. And you can say those affirmations throughout the day as many times as you like, until eventually it's actually solidly implanted into your unconscious mind, that before you know it, you are actually doing those things.
Yeah. No, well, obviously personally as well, I'm going to start ticking things off my bucket list. So I've got a couple of things that I can do this year, maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 things I can do this year. But then there's a couple of big things on there, such as I want to go to New York and spend Christmas in New York at some point. I was speaking to you. That might be a next 5 years thing. It is rather big thing, and with the current circumstances, it's physically not possible just yet. So it's going to be, I think that's going to be a next 5 years thing, but I will do it before I die. I will have everything on my bucket list ticked off. Getting married was not on my bucket list, but it's one extra thing that I've done in my life. So
I'm going to interrupt again. Sorry about this, but you were saying about you talking about bucket lists. I think it's a brilliant idea to have a bucket list. But a couple of friends of mine, they also do a thing which I haven't done myself yet, but it's something in my diary to do today. And that is to create a list of 100 things that you want to do this year. And it can be something as simple as, I don't know, me, you and Adam meeting up and having a cup of coffee.
A bit more than a cup of coffee, but...
Right, a cup of coffee and some lunch, and lots of conversation. But it can be tiny things like that, but equally you can include big things. You can include your goals in that. So there's something to think about.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure about doing 100 things this year on top of everything else we've got planned this year. We've got quite a few plans this year. So, yeah.
Well, include those plans in your list of 100 things to do.
Could do.
Yeah.
Personally, I think that's about it, apart from my qualifications and maybe getting a job. I've not thought about much else personally. I want to obviously knuckle down and get my head into my qualifications. So they're the big ones for me this year, is my qualifications.
Brilliant.
Because I started last year and I said to myself I wanted to better myself, but I didn't know how. And then the Mental Health Warriors came up and I went into mental health training, and I've already got 4 mental health qualifications under my belt. I'm going to be adding 2 more this year. So they were my achievements last year. I got 4 mental health qualifications under my belt, and I'm proud of myself for that. I'm going to push for 2 more. With the mental health warriors, well, me and Adam, with you and Steve and a few of the other warriors, we've spoken and we've set a few goals for the warriors this year. We obviously want to try and bring in a sponsor for the warriors. Obviously want to boost the numbers, start getting some more numbers out there, bringing some more guests on. We've already got a few amazing guests lined up. Getting the warriors to mix a bit more. So instead of the same faces in all the shows, more new faces start popping up. So we've got that. And of course, another one Adam wants to do is get the warriors on tour. So we spread out into doing public speaking offline, like you said, about taking it into live audiences, taking the warriors into live audiences, which Brilliant. I think that would be a really good one.
I think so too. Absolutely.
Yeah. The last thing for the warriors, I'm thinking of doing my own show. It's a little thought I've had for a while, and it's not manifested itself just yet because it's just ideas at the moment. Nothing's been put forward saying I will do this, but I'm going to put it out there. I will do my own show this year at some point. I just not set myself a date.
And it will happen when you and the universe are in alignment with it.
Yeah. No, well, I'm jumping on to Steve's show in February. I'm going to take over his show for one show only and put him under the spotlight. So that's something to look out for in February. I'm not giving too much away.
Brilliant. As Melissa's just said, it's fantastic achievements.
Yeah.
And Dorota as well. Very good point there, Dorota, actually. Setting SMART goals is crucial, but making them smart is a skill without which we cannot make them achievable. So it's a very good idea to have a look at SMART goals. They generally tend to be the more short-term goals, but we can still use the SMART process for our longer-term stuff. The SMART goals, the whole process is really good.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah. It's not something I'm too familiar with, the SMART goals, but obviously, you know what? I'm going to make a point. I'm going to read more into that SMART goals and set them myself, line them up with me.
Yeah.
But you know what? Going back a little bit, backtracking a bit to the manifestations last night, I did actually set myself to be more positive. And you know what? I woke up this morning feeling more positive. So
good, brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. So this is something that there are still many people out there that don't realise how powerful we are as individuals. It is completely within us to create a life that we love, that we really, really desire. Absolutely within us. We all have that ability and that capability. Sometimes it'll take a little while because we might not know what it is that we actually really want out of life. But when we do, then we can look at, and it's a bit like using the SMART goal process. We can look at, is it something do we believe we can actually achieve it? And if we do, then that's brilliant. So what do we need to do now to achieve it? What steps can I start making in order to achieve? And we don't have to know every single step of the way either. As long as we know that first step to take and we take that first step, the second one will become apparent whilst we're doing that, or once we've done it, done the first one, and we take the next step. And then as we've done that, the next step will become apparent, and so on and so on and so on. There are certain things, like, for example, with the mental health warriors and with running a business, you've got to be out there daily on all the social media platforms. So they're like tiny little steps, but they're consistent steps that we can plan in the diary and what have you, you know. But when it comes to the really, really important, I mean, it's all important, but like the bigger major steps, as I say, as long as you know what that first step is, the next step will then become apparent to you, and you take that one, and then the next one will become apparent and obvious, and blah blah, so on and so on. So, Melissa, I believe it is so important to have goals and dreams, to work towards them, to help empower yourself in your growth and development, in allowing us to contribute to society and communities we align with. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Rota's put, getting fit is not a smart goal. Saying you will work out 15 minutes a day for a month, starting from XY, is smart. Then you can change variants every month and so on. At the end of the year, you will become more fit.
Yep.
So, you know, saying that you will do something every day. So maybe you can start with, say, not 15 minutes, say with 10 minutes. 10 minutes every day. Make a point of working out. You could also change that and say, every day I'm going to go for a walk for half an hour.
Yep.
Because maybe it is that you have to walk to town to go and get bread and milk or whatever you need from town. I'll be walking to town later on. I do need some bread and milk. So
yeah, or if town is for anybody out there, if town is a bit too far away to walk into, you know, and you've got to take the car or the bus, you know, if you're driving your car in, park a bit further away from where you need to do your shopping if you can, provided you're not getting like a trolley full of shopping. I wouldn't suggest wandering around with loads of heavy bags of grocery shopping, but you know, if it's I don't know, if you're going to the bank or something, if you can park a bit further away from the bank than you would normally, then you've got that little bit extra distance to walk. If you're having to take the bus into town and it's at all possible, get off at the stop before the one that you would normally get off at and walk a little bit extra. We've got yeah, the only problem is when you have ill mental health to interfere with your goals. Yes, it is a very real struggle for lots of people. I totally get that, you know, totally get that. But again, I will say that we do absolutely have we have that power within us to turn that around. And I'm not saying by any means that it's easy, because it's not. It's really, you know, and I do speak from personal experience. But if we have that that mindset of perseverance, we're absolutely set on achieving something, even if that something is to have a more positive mindset. You know, over a period of time, we can set ourselves little things to do each day that will help us achieve that, you know, and it could be just going out for a walk and being at one in nature. Get yourself a pet, a little furry pet, you know, a cat or a dog if you like walking. A dog is brilliant, you know, because they need to be walked every day, or even just a goldfish, you know, sit and, I know it might sound a bit crazy, but sit and chat to the fish. They're creatures, they're living creatures just like us, you know, and they kind of need that interaction as much as we do. But there are lots and lots of different things that are available external to us that can help us, and within us that will help us. And it's just a case of sort of tuning into and tapping into those things and making really good use of them, being persistent, being consistent.
Yeah, I'm going to just echo a bit what you just said. Well, I mean, none of us are saying that setting goals and sticking to goals is an easy thing. We know from personal experience that goals can be hard. And sometimes you think, you know what, I'm done with that goal. But as obviously the Warriors say, #never quit. Set yourself that goal, put yourself the steps between you and achieving that goal, and allow yourself maybe a day or 2 days every week where you don't have to do anything. So maybe instead of 7 days a week, you go out every day and walk. Do it for 4 days a week. Build yourself up. Even start it at just 2 days a week and build yourself up to doing it 5 days a week, because then you've got those 2 days then where if you need to have some downtime, ignore everything, have a lazy day, that's absolutely fine, because you set yourself that time then to have still achieve that goal, but still have those down days where if you don't want to get out of bed, fine. But then the next day, make a point of getting out of bed and getting back to your goals. Maybe set it like that. That's why I've given myself 6 months, because then I can have those rubbish days where I feel like I don't want to be an adult today. I just want to be lazy. Stuff the housework.
I would just say that by saying that you can have those rubbish days,
we're all going to have them at some point. That's why I said can have them.
Yes, but I think we have to be. It's good to be mindful of the language that we use and what we're actually putting.
It's not costing money without being shouted at.
Because remember, the law of attraction is working all the time. Yeah. So if we're putting out there, so that I can have these rubbish days, you're saying to the universe, oh, I'd like a few rubbish days, please. Give me a few rubbish days. And that's what's going to happen. Chances are it's going to happen anyway. None of us are going to have a brilliant day every single day.
Yeah.
That is just 100%. Absolutely impossible. Yeah. However, leave the so that I can have a few rubbish days in between times out of that sentence, out of your statement, and say, so I've given myself 6 months, because I believe that is a reasonable time period for me in which to achieve what I want to achieve. And that is all you need to. That's all any of us need to say. We can go through life. I'll give you an example. I used to be really pessimistic, really negative, because something would go wrong. Okay, and then quite soon after that, something else would go wrong. So that's number 2. Yeah. Of course, I was very familiar with saying, oh, well, it always comes in 3s, doesn't it? Bad luck always happens in 3s. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting there waiting for the 3rd thing. And I'm consciously thinking about it. I'm like, what's going to happen now then? And sure enough, the 3rd thing would happen, then it'd be all right for a little bit. And then it'd start all over again. And it was a cycle. And all because I found it difficult to look on the positive side of things. So I was always expecting the negative, and that was the level of my vibration. So that's what I was attracting into my life. When I started changing that around and looking at the more positive things, those negative things didn't stop happening. I just looked at them differently, thought about them differently, reacted to them differently in a better way. And, you kind of accept that in much the same ways as you've rightly said, Kerry, that, shit's going to happen to all of us. Yeah. We're not going to be able to stop it, but it's how we respond to it, and if we're expecting it to happen, then we're attracting it to us. Yeah. If we're not expecting it to happen, but we accept that when it does, that we can respond in a calm and reasonably positive way, and then look towards positive, good, exciting stuff. The more we do that, the more these negative things that happen to us, the better we are then equipped, if you like, to deal with them. And eventually the majority of those negative things become like water off a duck's back to us.
Yeah. No, well, I keep putting it out into the universe for the last week or so, while we've been gearing up for today's return, that it's not coffee morning without being shouted at. And there you go, I've been shouted at.
Right, Melissa, what are your thoughts on goals versus intentions, or expectations versus intentions? I'll let you go first, Kerry.
Throw me in the deep end. Goals versus intentions. I basically think that goals are your intentions, because you set your goal and that's your intention to complete that goal and to see it through. So goals and intentions can align together and be good things. Expectations, don't expect anything, because I learned that having expectations, you always seem to let yourself down. I don't know if that's just me and that's my experience, but whenever there's an expectation, the expectation is far beyond the outcome. So I don't set myself expectations. I set myself goals, and I intend to obviously complete my goals, and I put the steps in. Well, I've started putting the steps in place. I didn't always do it. I was one of these where I wanted to do things, but I didn't put the steps in place to do it. So I always let myself down. That's short and sweet.
It's very interesting, actually. Very interesting. It's so, yeah. In a way, our intentions are our goals. I look at intentions and goals slightly differently, in as much as an intention is something that I intend to do. Yeah. It's not necessarily something that I will do. It's like I could say quite easily, okay, well, I intend to meditate twice a day, but I might only do it once a day. Yeah. Whereas a goal for me is something that I know absolutely that I'm going to put the work into achieving it. I'm going to take action every single day, and I know that I will achieve that goal. So they're very similar, but on slightly different levels. That's how I see them. Yeah. Now, expectations versus intentions. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because depending on the intention that you set for yourself, if it's let's say, for example, the intention is to do half an hour exercise every day, 6 days of the week. Yeah. And if you then do not expect yourself to do it 6 days of the week, the chances are you won't do it 6 days of the week. You might do it 3 or 4, and then that's it. So a little bit like what you were saying, Kerry, if you put those expectations on yourself and then you don't do them, then you're letting yourself down.
Yeah. That's just the way I feel about it.
Yeah, no. I get that.
Yeah.
But I also think that it's a good thing to have expectations. I expect to achieve my goals. I expect that the intentions that I set myself are very realistic, and they're things that I do want to achieve. But I look at an intention as something that I need to do in order to achieve the bigger goal. So my expectation is that if I don't follow through with those intentions, I'm less likely to achieve that bigger goal, or certainly in the time frame that I've set for myself. But I also expect to be treated by other people in a similar way that how I would treat them. That is an expectation of mine. I don't expect to get on with everybody. I don't expect to be liked by everybody, but I do expect to be treated with a little respect, humanity, compassion, humility, just decent.
Yeah.
So
I think there are expectations that everybody has to be treated the same as anybody else.
So Adam's made an interesting comment here. I don't know if this is right, but I believe if you set yourself expectations over your intentions, I believe that's your ego talking over what you actually want to achieve in your life. I suppose to a degree it is. However, I also think that if we've set a goal, and it's something that we absolutely believe in, it fills us with excitement, and we are totally and utterly aligned with it, then I think we have to expect to succeed in achieving that goal. And I don't think that's necessarily ego overriding anything. I think it's just us being completely and utterly in total belief of ourselves and our own abilities. That's how I see it anyway. I don't know about you, Kerry.
Yeah. Well, that's the final question for today, because there is a little bit of housekeeping to do. Let me just find Adam's comment. Tomorrow, the Mental Health Warrior is back at 3 p.m. UK time with Cynthia Mobble Howell. Apologies if I've mispronounced the name. I will also put a message out there. Empower You isn't going to be returning just yet. Tessa, who joins along with Steve, is busy personally, so is unable to come into the Warriors just yet. But Empower You will be back at the end of the month. Please do watch out for that. Another apologies is, I know there hasn't been a TV guide out. Adam has been to the hospital all the weekend. Caroline has had personal things to do, so we've been unable to do the TV guide. But please watch out for the announcements on the Warriors. We'll keep you all up to date that way.
Yeah.
And join us tomorrow.
And a real biggie here, guys. If you're watching on YouTube, or even if you're not and you've got access to YouTube, please do find us, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and hit the bell button as well, so that you get notifications of when the
that's really going to help us out. It helps us to boost the numbers and spread awareness.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you all for joining us. Happy New Year again to everybody.
Happy New Year.
Bye.